Hi everyone, welcome to Fast Homebrew. Today I'm making porter with the English bitter kit again. This is Coopers' own Robo Choc version of it. And check this out, this is my head. I've had these headaches, so they x-rayed me and I got all these pictures and they're really interesting. Anyway, this is the general recipe I came up with for this thing. So start with an English bitter kit. There it is. You need some malt. So I've got 1.5 kilos of liquid amber. Sugar's optional. I don't have sugar in this one. The recipe calls for it, but I've just omitted it. So the grain bill, you got to just sort of balance these guys out. So I've got 300 grams of choc, 100 grams of roast barley, and 200 grams of crystal, no smoked malt. These hops are optional, so I've left them out. And my yeast, I've got Nottingham. So that's it. That's the general recipe. You sort of balance everything against everything, but that's sort of the parameters for it. So water is at 70 degrees, so this is my grains. Quite a lot, actually. I think it's 600 grams in total, so that all goes into a bag, and the bag goes into the pot. And in she goes, plop, and lid goes on, and then that gets left for half an hour, 45 minutes to steep. So I'll use that time productively to clean all my gear. So that star sand going in, getting shaken around, and then the other gear that I'm going to use gets the rest of the star sand. Including the tap, don't forget the tap. Alright, that's all good. Oh yeah, so you got to get the goo out of these guys. It's much easier if it's runny, so if you just leave them in hot water for a bit, then it sort of softens up and it gets runny, makes it easier to pour later. So now's later, so lid's coming off for 1 and 2, and in they go. Yeah, look at that. Alright, so that's all that's the main part of it all, I guess. Yep, now they've still got some goodness to give, so you fill them up with hot water from the kettle, and put the lid back on, let it sit there for a bit, a little bit of a stir, and then pick it up with a tea towel because it's actually really hot when you do that. It's, yeah, you do it one time, you'll forget, and then you'll have no hands, and then you'll have to get someone else to do all your brewing for you because you've got no hands anymore because you melted them. Anyway, this is what you call a sparge. So I'm just letting the goodness drain out, but to give it a little bit of a helping hand, you take the kettle and you pour some more hot water over your grain bag, and that just flushes all the good gear out of that. That's going back on the stove to boil for 15 minutes to kill all the buggly wugglies, and then that goes in the sink, and I cool it down using cold running water. And there she goes. So it started off near 100 degrees. Now it's come down to 60 degrees. Yeah, I reckon that'll be cool enough. 60 degrees will be fine. By the time I fill that up with water from the tap, that'll definitely be around the pitching temperature of 20 degrees, won't it? Yeah, remember that one for later, everyone. So here's the cold water going in, and it's filling up, and 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 litres, tap off, but the temperature, emergency cooling device, I've got it next to the freezer here, so I'm just doing whatever I can to cool it down, because it's still at like 30 degrees, so that's not good for the yeast, so I'll just let that sit there while I feed the baby. The trick is make him laugh, and then just stuff food into his mouth while he's giggling away, and yeah, there he goes. He's a happy little kid. He does good. He can reach things now. Anyway, this is all done, so that's got down to about 26. Not the best, not the worst. I can't believe how well that actually works. Anyway, here's the yeast, Nottingham, and in it goes. As soon as I cut enough of the packet off so that it actually makes a hole. So yeast goes in. That's all done. Lid goes on. There she goes. We're all done. So, it's still a bit warm. I'm going to find a really cool place in the house to leave that one overnight to cool down to around 20 degrees. But apart from that, thanks for watching the video. See you next time.